So sabi nga nila, Judy, sister, baka pwede kang bigay ng pre-convention formation, no? Tapos sabi nga nila, Rina, sister, para basic na about Don Bosco, no? And the Salesian spirituality. Siyempre, hindi natin ma-appreciate ano ba yung Salesian spirituality kung hindi natin kilala si Don Bosco. Uy, ko tama, may wisdom naman yung sinasabi nila, no? Kasi karamihan sa atin dito, no, hindi galing sa Salesian parishes. Yung sa Paranaque, Salesian na Salesian, mayapa, okay. Pero yung iba, no, hindi eh. So talaga bang kilala natin si Don Bosco? Tatlong taon na po natin pinaghahandaan to, no? Noong 2000, kailan ba nagsimula yan? 2012, no? History. And then 2013, yung kanyang pedagogy, yung kanyang educational system. At yung pangatlo ay ang spirituality. Sa ngayon po ba masasabi natin kilala natin si Don Bosco? Yan. Actually, ito pong talk na ito, no? Nag-prepare po ako na isa, simplified, pang kabataan. Pero sabi ko, naku, mga veterana na yung mga kaharap ko. Kaya siguro magle-level up na lang kami. Okay. So, yung PowerPoint presentation na to, courtesy of our Salesianity team. Okay? So, yun po yung mga experts namin in Salesianity. Sina Sister Raquel, yung aming Provincial Secretary, si Sister Melanie Pilar, no? Superior po ng Aspirant sa Sister Phoebe. No? Sila po yung nagtulong-tulong, nagbigay ng presentation na to dun sa aming mga youth leaders sa SYM, no? Salesian Youth Movement. So medyo hiluho ako ngayon kasi nag-SYM kahapon. So ngayon meron na uli. Yung tipong pagdating mo ng bahay kahapon ng Kanlubang, ay pepe na nuntok. Anyway, sabi ko sige. So pagtingnan muna natin yung ating ano ba to history. No, nasa na nga ba ang Pilipinas dito? Nakikita niyo po ba kung nasan pa ang Pilipinas? Nasa na nga ba? Dito tayo, no? Tapos nasa na Italia, ang lugar ni Don Bosco. Nasaan po? Ito, ang liit, ang layo, oh. Nung biniyahe po nila Junior, 16 hours. Grabe. So, medyo na tayo, no? Pumasok na tayo, nandito siya, ang Italy, no? Yung lugar ni Don Bosco. Okay? So, yan po itsura ng Italy ngayon, parang boots. Diba? Layo sa Pilipinas. Kasi nga, hindi ko alam kung kaya kong tapusin yung talk na to kasi napakahaba talaga niya. But I'll be focusing, sabi nga pre-convention formation, on the family life of Don Bosco. Paano siya, kasi malaki ang impact ng family life ni Don Bosco kung sino siya. Okay? Pero sana matapos ko lahat kasi may mga importante mga lugar dito kung saan nag-journey si Don Bosco. Okay? So, taga-saan po ba si Don Bosco dito? North or South? Sa North, saan ho? Okay, dito sa Piedmont. Okay? Iyon, may star. Okay? Yan. Noong panahon ni Don Bosco, yung bawat na lugar na yan, may mga kingdom yan. Ha? Kaya magugulat kayo, bakit yung king nila Don Bosco, Piedmontese ang mga sinasabi, wala pa hong talagang as in Italian na salita. May sarili-sarili silang mga salita. It was only after nagkaroon during the time of Don Bosco na nag-unify ang Italy. Okay, medyo hindi rin, tawag nito, hindi rin peaceful yung panahon na yun. No? Kaya nga na-excel dati yung Pope eh. Kasi they were trying to have a unified Italy. Kaya lang sabi niya, hindi natin pwede exile ang Pope. Kaya nag-independent state ang Rome. Okay? So ito po yung lugar ni Don Bosco, no? Castelnuovo Don Bosco. Okay, so talon-talon na tayo. Ayan. So, naalala niyo ba to, Junie? Ito yung hill, di ba yung kung saan nandun yung malaking simbahan ni Don Bosco? Okay, tapos nandito yung maliit na bahay ni Don Bosco. Hulaan niyo, saan pinanganak si Don Bosco? Dito o dito? A or B? Siyempre sa? Dito. Sa B. Ito Casa Bilione. Okay? Kung saan nandun yung malaking simbahan na nagpa-picture si Junie sa harap. Okay? Tapos, ayan. Yung maliit ng hill na yon. Actually, sila Don Bosco, hindi po sila mayaman. Sila po ay mga katulong doon sa Bilione house na yon. Okay? Pero doon siya pinanganak kasi doon nagtatrabaho ang kanyang magulang. Okay? So ito yung little house kung saan yung bahay ni Don Bosco. Ito siya pinanganak sa Bilione kasi katulong nga yung parents siya doon. No? Pero dito siya lumaki. Tinatawag niyang little house. Okay? So ito yung itsura niya noon. Ibang iba, no? Nag-iba na itsura. So, hindi lang sila Don Bosco nakatira dyan, may mga kasama pa silang ibang mga pamilya. Talagang farmhouse. Talagang sasabi natin, hindi mayaman si Don Bosco. At nakikita nyo lang kasi ngayon Don Bosco ay isang eskwelahan. Ano sinabi Don Bosco? Sosi. Pero yung beginnings, roots ng aming founder and father is very humble beginnings. No? So, ayan na. So, Casa Billone, the farmhouse. Okay, this is the Billone farmhouse where the parents were working. Okay? So ngayon, syempre natibag na yan kasi tinayo yung napalaking simbahan. Okay? So yun ang matrabaho nila. No? Ito na ngayon siya. Di ba? Ang ganda na. No? Yan. Yan, nandito yung simbahan. No? Saan? Okay? So ito na yung itsura niya ngayon. Binili ng Salesians yung laking kingdom. Napapaligiran ng mga, mga fields. Okay? So ayan yung simbahan sa itaas. Yan. Okay? Sa ilalim. Okay. Yung part na to, Julie, napuntahan ba natin itong likod na to? Okay. Yan yung relic, nakalagay yung part ng brain ni Don Bosco. The relic. Okay? So, the name of ano nga pangalan ng nanay ni Don Bosco? Si Margaret. Kaya nga may Mama Margaret Club sa Tondo, no? Mama Margaret Oquiena. No? She married Francis Bosco, a widower with a son, Anthony, in 1812. So, namatay na rin kasi yung unang asawa ni Francis, no? Eh, may anak din siya, no? Si Anthony. Hindi sila in good terms ni Anthony. Okay? So, Francis and Margaret had two sons. Okay? Si Joseph, yung kuya ni Don Bosco, no? Nagpa-picture din sa may harap ng kapatid niya. No? And John Melchior, that's Don Bosco. Okay, life at the Billone farm. Hard work together. No, they were in search for the better future for the family. Remember, they don't own this house or this farm. Okay? Unfortunately, when Don Bosco was 2 years old, the father died. Yung 2 years old po ba, may memory na po yun? Wala pa. Kaya ang sabi ni Don Bosco, one thing only do I remember. We were all going out from the room where father had died, and I insisted on staying behind. My grieving mother, si Mama Margaret, addressed me, "Come, John, come with me." Tapos sabi ni John, "If Papa's not coming, I don't want to come." "My poor son," my mother replied, "Come with me. You no longer have a father." Having said this, she broke down and started crying as she took me by the hand and led me away. I began crying too because she was crying. At that age, I could not really understand the magnitude of the tragedy of losing a father. So yung journey ni Don Bosco, maliit pa lang siya, talaga, mahirap ang buhay, nawalan ng tatay. So, mahirap talaga yung beginnings, no? So, nang namatay nga si Francis, no? Margaret and her sons moved to Becky. Some months after Francis' death. No? Ngayon may ibang ibig sabihin ng Becky. No? Pero nung mga estudyante namin, nagpunta sa Don Bosco Lubang kasi nga sa bicentenary. "Hi, Becky!" Sabi ko, diyan pinanganak si Don Bosco, ganyan na. Yan, syempre, yan ang kayo na itsura niya ngayon. Kasi inayos din, pinaayos ng mga Salesians. Okay? Ayan. Yung dinala dyan yung relic ni Don Bosco, talagang pinicture nila, "Questa è la mia casa." Na this is my house. The little house of Don Bosco. Yan yung itsura niya noon. Okay? Farmhouse pa siya. After Francis' death, yung tatay ni Don Bosco, the financial situation, the family grew worse. Nabaon sila sa utang. And in the year 1816 to 1815, by the way, kailan pa pinanganak si Don Bosco? 1815. Anong date? August 16, kaya nag-celebrate tayo sa Caritas na. After 1 year, yung iba 1 to 3 years old si Don Bosco, nagkaroon ng, drought and famine in their place. And in Becky, it was a life of poverty. Okay? So, yun ang itsura nila doon as a farmer, no? And then, sabi kasi bata pa si Mama Margaret, nang marami naliligaw kasi maganda. Pero ang kultura that time, kapag halimbawa, may karapatan siyang mag-asawa uli. Okay? Kaya lang merong kondisyon, kailangan iwanan niya yung mga anak niya. Okay? At start living with another family. Pero Mama Margaret was so upright, no? Parang kahit bata siya, hindi niya inisip yung sarili niya, inisip niya yung pamilya niya, inisip niya yung anak niya. And then Mama Margaret said, "God gave me a husband, and God took him away from me. My husband left me 3 children, and I would be a cruel mother if I were to abandon them in their time of need. I will never abandon them, not even for all the gold in the world. Huh? Kasi mga nanay dito, na kaya minsan hindi ko maintindihan bakit sa news, yung nanay, tinapon yung baby niya sa basurahan, sa bakanting lote. May mga ganun pang nanay na walang puso. Pero si Mama Margaret, ayun, biruin mo, nakita mo ang sakripisyo ng isang ina. Okay? So, Mama Margaret is a model Christian mother and educator. Kahit di sila nakapag-aral, kasi mga farmers sila. Hindi nawala ang prayer life nila as a family. Okay, bago kumain, bago matulog, nagbibigay pa ng katisismo yung si Mama Margaret sa anak nila. At doon nakilala ni Don Bosco ang Diyos at si Mama Mary sa pamamagitan ng kanyang ina. Kaya nga tinatawag ngayon, the family is a domestic church. Isang maliit na simbahan. Kasi ang pamilya, doon natin nakikilala ang Diyos, ang mahal na ina. Doon tayo natututo. Sino nagturo sa atin ng first sign of the cross? Di ba ang ating mga magulang? Pag may nakita mga bata, Papa Jesus! Si Mama Mary! Mga parents natin nagsimula. It was like, napaka-importante mo ng pamilya. Kahit nga po si Pope Francis, he was writing an article about the family. Kasi napakalaking bagay. Tatanungin natin, bakit ang daming krimen sa mundo natin? Tignan ninyo, anong klaseng pamilya meron ng mga ito? Either ang mga batang ito ay iniwan ng magulang, binugbog, or inabandona. Karamihan po sa mga nagiging kriminal ay ganun. Siguro kung nagkaroon man sila ng mabuting pamilya dahil nagkaroon ng bad influence. Diba? Sabi nga ni Pope Francis, families are the domestic church. Where Jesus grows, He grows in the love of spouses. He grows in the lives of children. The family is made up of faces of people who love, talk, sacrifice themselves for others, and defend life at all costs. Di ba ginagawa ni Mama Margaret yun? Karamihan sa atin dito, mga nanay. No? Alam ko marami kayong sakripisyong ginawa para sa mga anak ninyo. Pero sana sa sakripisyo na yon, hindi nyo nakalimutang i-share si Kristo sa mga anak ninyo. Kasi po mga nanay, kayo po yung mga unang katikista. Kayo po ang model ng mga bata. Ginagaya lang po ng mga bata kung nakikita nila sa matatanda. Kaya pag may nakita kayong batang nagba-bad words, malamang ang magulang nun ganun. Pero pag nakakita kayo ng mga bata ng dadasal, malamang tinuro yun ng nanay. Na? So yun. Paka-crucial po ng role ng mother. So, Mama Margaret loved each son uniquely and unconditionally. Kahit na hindi naman talaga niya totoong kadugo si Anthony. Ha? Kasi anak yan nung kanyang asawa si Francis. Pero hindi siya nagdalawang isip. Kahit alam niyo, ito si Anthony, kontrabida yan sa buhay ni Don Bosco. Kontrabulante talaga siya. Okay? So, he saw to their religious upbringing. No, she brought Christ to the family. She taught them how to pray, etc. No, educated them to piety and prayer life. So, Mama Margaret's virtue explains Don Bosco's virtue. Her words and teaching accompanied Don Bosco throughout his life. The certainty of his mother's love for him decided and decisively forged Don Bosco's personality. Diba? So, yan po. So, si Mama Margaret, yan ang kanya. Okay, the place where, ayan, ang kanyang prayer room. Ito yung lugar na ito, yung room ni Don Bosco. Ano bang nangyari dito sa room na ito? The dream at 9 took place in this little room. Sige, dahil ng mga expert po kayo, ano ba nangyari sa dream at 9? Ha? Halaginit yung Bosco, binangongot siya. Ano mga po nangyari sa dream at 9?
Parang napanigitan niya na yung kanyang may barko na
ay, may barko na. Ano po yun? The Dream of Two Pillars. Medyo malaki na siya nun. Opo. Yung Dream at 9. Ang dami kasi panaginip ni Don Bosco, nakakalito. Kaya nga may isang libro yan. Nabasa ko, ang dami. Yung wolves na naging sheep. Okay. Sige, thank you. Ikaw, ate. Hello, I'm Mama Mary. Glad to meet you, Don Bosco. Okay, sa Dream at 9. Sino nakakapagsabi ng detalye? nangyari doon? Sige na, huwag na nating pahirapan pa kayo. Pakita ko lang sa inyo, meron akong ano rito eh. Where are you?
When I was about 9 years old, I had a dream that left a profound impression on me for the rest of my life. I dreamt that I was near my home in a very large playing field where a crowd of children were having fun. Some were laughing, others were playing, and many were cursing. I was so shocked at their language that I jumped in their midst and I started swinging my fist wildly and shouting at them to stop. At that moment, a man appeared, nobly attired, with a manly, imposing bearing. He was clad with a white, flowing mantle, and his face radiated with such light that I could not look directly at him. He called me by name and told me to place myself as leader over those boys. He went on to say, "You will have to win these friends of yours, not with blows, but with gentleness and kindness. So begin right now to show them that sin is ugly and virtue beautiful." Well, I was confused and afraid. I replied that I was only a boy, unable to talk to these youngsters about religion. And then the fighting and shouting and cursing stopped, and a crowd of boys gathered about the man who was now talking. Almost unconsciously, I asked, "But how can you order me to do something that seems so impossible?" And he said, "What seems so impossible, you must achieve by being obedient and acquiring knowledge." "But where and how?" I begged. "I will give you a teacher, under whose guidance you will learn, and without whose help all knowledge becomes foolishness." "Who are you?" I asked. And then he said, "I am the son of her whom your mother has taught you to greet 3 times a day." He said, "My mother told me not to talk to strangers without her permission, so please tell me your name." Just then, I saw beside him a lady of majestic appearance, wearing a beautiful mantle, glowing as if adorned with stars. She saw my confusion mount, so she beckoned me to her. Taking my hand with great kindness, she said, "Look." So I did. All of the children had vanished, and in their place I saw many animals, goats, dogs, cats, bears, and a variety of others. She said to me, "This is your field. This is where you must work. Make yourself humble, steadfast, and strong. And what you see happen to these animals, you will have to do for my children." I looked again, and all the wild animals had turned into as many lambs, gently playing, crying out a welcome for that man and lady. At this point in my dream, I started to cry. I begged the lady to explain what it all meant because I was so confused. She placed her hand on my head and said, "In due time, everything will be clear to you." After she had spoken these words, some noise woke me up, and everything vanished. The next day, when I shared this dream with my family, everyone had their own opinion of what the dream might have meant. For example, my brother Joseph thought that it meant someday I'd become a shepherd. My stepbrother Anthony, he thought that it meant I might join a circus or become the leader of a gang. But you know what? It was my mama that knew the true message. She said, "Who knows? Maybe someday you'll become a priest."
The instinct of a mother. Eh? Yung mga kapatid yung kontrabida. Talaga si Anthony, no? Ikaw, magiging leader ka ng gang. Mga nega. Mahirap po talaga yung nega sa buhay, ano? So, sabi naman ni Joseph, at least si Joseph kasi totoong kapatid niya yun, no? Sabi niya, baka magiging shepherd. At least naman medyo swabe naman. Pero yung iba, no? Pero yung nanay niya, sabi niya, "Anak, magiging pari ka." Okay? Tignan natin, no? Himay-himayin natin siya.
So when I was about 9, I had a strange dream in this room. It stayed with me throughout my life. Okay? So sa dream na yon, naramdaman niya yung assurance, the divine assurance, Na parang pinapakita doon, o pinapakita talaga ni Jesus at ni Maria yung kanyang future mission of being a good shepherd among the poor. May puntos doon yung kapatid niya, yung kuya niya, si Joseph, yung totoong kadugo niya. Sabi niya, magiging shepherd ka. Totoo. But the shepherd of the young and abandoned poor people. Okay? And in this dream, Jesus gave him Mary to be his mother and teacher. Okay? Kaya nga lagi natin sinasabi, mother and teacher siya. This was a recurring vision all throughout his life, assuring Johnny of his future mission as a priest. Okay? So dito, pinakita, no? Ayan. Sabi niya, I will give you, kasi nakita niya sa isang field, no? May naglalaro mga bata. Okay? Maya-maya, naglalaro, nagkapikulan, nagkasuntukan. Napikon si Don Bosco. Alam niyo, may personality rin kasi yan eh. Okay? Medyo impatient siya, impulsive, no? Gusto niya patahimigin mga bata, suntukin. Okay? Pero sabi niya, it's not with blows that you will win them. Ay, maglarambo lang kayo. It is only with loving kindness that you will give them. Okay? Tapos, ayun. And then, nagulat siya, yung mga bata, naging mga wild animals. Okay? Tapos yung mga wild animals, totoo yung sinabi ninyo, they turn into lambs. Tapos sabi niya, sino ka ba talaga? Sabi niya kay Jesus, ako yung anak nung babae kung saan nagdadasal ka 3 times a day. That's Angelus. Yeah. Tapos sabi ni Jesus, I will give you a teacher under whose guidance you will learn. And without help, all knowledge becomes foolishness. Throughout the life of Don Bosco, Jesus and Mary will always be there. Ups and downs. Kahit bata pa lang si Don Bosco. Alam niyo yung dream na yan? Naunawaan lang yan ni Don Bosco nung malapit na siyang mamatay. Nung nagbimisa siya, nung malapit na siyang mamatay, no? 18. Anong year na siya namatay? 1888, no? So malapit na siyang mamatay, nagbimisa siya. Parang biglang nag-flashback, parang pelikula. Doon sa utak niya. Doon napahagulgul si Don Bosco. Sabi ng mga pare, ang nangyari sa Don Bosco, okay ka lang. Carry mo pa. Kasi sabi niya, nung ko lang naunawaan talaga yung buong ibig sabihin ng dream na yun. Imagine. Okay? And at that moment, I saw beside him a lady of majestic appearance, wearing a beautiful mantle, glowing as if bedecked with stars. She saw my confusion mount, so she beckoned me to her. Taking my hand with great kindness, she said, "Look, this is your field. This is where you must work. Make yourself humble, steadfast, and strong. And what you will see happen to these animals, you will have to do for my children." Pinapakita niya dito yung mission ni Don Bosco. Na yung mga kabataang i-entrust sa kanya, they used to be wild. Pero yung ating mission na maging mga mabubuting mga lambs. Perhaps yung iba sa atin dito mga nanay, sa matanda na ako, hindi na makakapag sa mga kabataan sa parokya, hindi ko na sila mahabol, ang bibili sila tumakbo. Pero yung may mga bata sa bahay nyo, mga anak nyo, mga apo nyo, okay? Paano nyo po kaya sila ginaguide? Kasi doon pwede ka rin maging shepherdess. Even in your own home. Kaya nga family ministry. There is no such thing as youth ministry without the family ministry. Kasi sa pamilya nagsisimula ang lahat. Okay? So yun ang kanyang dream. So yan. No? Malapit ng dream niya, malapit sa kanyang bahay actually. No? It's not with punches, but with kindness. With the win over these boys. Okay? Yeah. So, I turned around and saw the wild animals change into playful lambs. I did not understand at all. I asked the woman to put it more clearly. Okay? So, yan na yun, yung sinabi. Naging mga goats, dogs, and cats. And Mama Mary said, make yourself humble and strong. Because it's not easy to pasture these lambs, these wild animals. Turn into good lambs. Okay? So make yourself humble and strong. What you see happen to these wild animals, you will have to do for my children. Ano naman natin kung ano yung mga klase ng bata na nakasama ni Don Bosco sa Torino. Hindi po sila yung mga malilinis at matatalinong bata. They are the last, the lost, and the least. Mamaya makikita natin yung pagdating natin sa Baldoco. Okay? So only many years later did I realize that in the dream, a Jesus figure and Mary figure were showing me what I would do with my future life. Okay?
Nag-jump tayo.
So the recurring dream. Napaka-importante po itong dream na ito. No? You will always hear the dream at night. Ha? In good time, you will understand everything. Ito sabi ko sa inyo, kung kailan na siya mamamatay, doon lang niya naintindihan ang lahat-lahat. Okay? So yan. Christ is the center, Mary as the mediator, mother and teacher, and he's called to be a shepherd. His field of work among the young people, and the characteristic of a shepherd, not with blows, but with loving kindness. Pag napipikon na ako kayo sa mga anak nyo tapo, ano pong ginagawa nyo? Blows. Dumihili ka. Mga bata ngayon, ipapacify, bigyan ng iPhone, bigyan ng iPad. Ha? Bigyan, harap sa TV, manood ng Dora. Hindi kayo nakapag-intervene, pero kinausap niyo po ba yung bata? Alam niyo kahit kinder rin, nakakaintindi. Tsagain niyo lang po. Ha? And then the blaspheming, no? They are saying something bad against God. No? Pinakita rin, no? The style of shepherding and the pasture, no? The transformation that educative love can bring, no? Not with blows, but with loving kindness. And the young have to feel that they are loved. Pagkatapos nyo, siyempre pag mga anak nyo makukulit, yung mga anak tuturuan nyo sa katikismo, mga makukulit, do you talk to them? Kahit bata eh. Kasi pag sinigawan nyo na sila, pinagalitan yung kuklose na yung mga bata. Di ba, no? May mga teenager dito. Ayaw nila kasi ng mga, mabunganga. No? Gusto nila, no? Yung kausapin nyo sila bilang isang kaibigan, no? Okay. So, Mama Margaret's interpretation of Don Bosco's dream, the possibility of a priestly calling for her son. Kaya naisip niya, kailangan ko na ipadala sa school si Don Bosco. Imaginin mo ilang taon si Don Bosco. Pero hindi madali ang lahat. Dahil kumakalaban si Kuya, si Anthony. Okay? So in Caprillo, doon na una nag-aral siya, no? So, pero malayo sa Becky ang kanyang lugar, no? Pero tinulungan siya ng mga auntie niya, si Aunt Mariana. Okay? It was a profitable and happy experience for John. Doon niya nagkaroon siya ng first confession and first communion at the Caprillo Primary School. This is Anthony, the stepbrother. Okay? So sabi niya talagang kumukontra siya. Sabi niya, alam mo sa atin, hindi mo na kailangan mag-aral. Matuto ka lang ng 3R, okay ka na. Ano ba yung 3R? Reading, writing, and arithmetic. Ha? Sabi niya, bakit mag-aaral ka pa? Eh, naghihirap na nga tayo dito. Yun, lagi sila nagbabangayan. Okay? Si Mama Margaret ang pacifier. Okay? Kaya sabi niya na pag-isip-isip niya, titignan natin, bakit kaya bakit pinayagan ni Mama Margaret magtrabaho si Don Bosco? Alam niyo, parang na rin peace in the house and in the world for the meantime. Kasi grabe ng awayan nila. But she was thinking, pagdating ng 1830, 21 years old na si Anthony, pwede na namin hatiin, kasi ano na yun, mature na yun, pwede na siyang bumukod. Pwede na siya mag-asawa, bahala na siya. Ganon. Bumukod na siya. 21 years old na mature na siya. Okay? Kaya sabi niya, she will really wait for that for Anthony to be 21 years old. And that's 1830. Okay? But then, kasi matagal pa, no, 1827, sabi niya, teka muna, sige dali natin si Don Bosco, no? He placed John with a family as a stable boy in order to ease the strained situation at home. So, pinagtrabaho niya si Johnny. Okay? Imagine mo, ikaw 12 years old, nawalay ka sa pamilya mo. And that's in Campora Farm. It was winter. Huh? The farm was doing poorly. So, John had to return home. Yan po yung trabaho kasi. Nakita niyo, puro fields yung mga nasa paligid. Okay? And it was also Molia Farm, where he worked for 2 years. Okay? Yan ang trabaho ng Don Bosco. Naranasan niya yun, mawalay sa isang ina, 12 anyos, magtrabaho. Alam niyo, Don Bosco was also exploited in his workplaces. Kaya gano'n na lang ang kanyang pagmamahal sa mga batang kalye, poor abandoned boys, because he experienced it himself. Okay? It was a period of growth in maturity, wisdom, and grace. Siguro nakapagpatatag lang kay Don Bosco, malakas ang kanyang pagdarasal at pananampalataya. Okay? Nakulang ngayon sa mga kabataan natin. Kasi hindi nagabayan ng nanay at tatay. Kaya nagwawala po sila. Pero alam nyo, kapag naipakilala nyo ang Diyos sa kanila, kahit saan man sila magpunta, hindi sila maliligaw ng landas. But it was also, of course, it was also a, tawag nito, ayan, a severe trial for John. Okay? 1829, Michael, the uncle, comes to bring John home. Malapit na mag-1830, malapit na mag-21 si Anthony. Dinala na niya, binitbit na niya pa uwi si John. To bring the plan. Ibebenta yung, i-divide na yung estate, no? Para magsarili na si Anthony. Okay, it was then that Father Caloso, okay, yung pare na talagang naging second father ni Don Bosco. Alam natin, 2 years old, patay na yung tatay niya. So si Father Caloso, naging father figure para kay Don Bosco. Okay? He came to Morialdo as chaplain in the summer of 1829. Okay? So yun yung nakita niya sa kanta, siya talaga yung nagturo kay Don Bosco, no? Kasi nakita niya na pwede maging pare itong batang ito. Okay? And then another figure is Father Cafaso, no? Spiritual director of Don Bosco. He met him summer holidays in 1830, and Cafaso was a seminarian, and John was studying with Father Caloso. Nung binabasa ko to, ano ito mga Father Cafaso? Kala ko mas matanda. Konti lang pala yung diferensya nila, no? Kasi seminarian siya, and John was studying with Father Caloso. Si Father Caloso talaga yung nagtyaga sa kanya. Tinuruan niya ng Latin, no? Yung mga, para talagang, para siyang little seminarian. So that's the life of Don Bosco in Becky. First area pa lang yun. Okay pa po kayo?
Para naman makita natin, ano ba yung mga lugar ni Don Bosco?
So in Chieri, another place, it's still in Castelnuovo. Ito yung formative years ni Don Bosco, yung nag-aral siya. Okay? So 16 to 26 years old, 10 years which influence a lifetime. Ito na yung school years niya, 1831 to 1841. Formal education and personal discernment. Okay? Huwag po nating isipin na porke nag-dream at 9 si Don Bosco, planchado ng lahat. Hindi po. There were times na alam niya, isip niya ni Don Bosco kung maging Franciscano eh. But he would always ask God, Lord, ano bang gusto mo sa akin? And God would always talk to him through a dream. Kaya napakarami niyang dream. Okay? After the loss of so much time, it was finally decided to send me to Chieri, where I could continue seriously with my schooling. Ayan, nakahiwalay na kasi si Anthony, kaya pwede na mag-aral. One has been raised in the backwoods, kasi probinsyano, kumbaga, promdi si Don Bosco, no? Ngayon pupunta siya sa city, and sabi niya, one has been raised in the backwoods and has never seen anything beyond a small country villages is easily impressed by any little novelty. Akala mo anong novelty doon sa Chieri, no? Ayan. So, ito yung buhay niya doon. Okay? So, yan, ang mga lugar-lugar. Chieri, Mornesa, yung lugar ni Don Bosco. Ayun na dyan. Yan, ang mga lugar. Chieri, malapit na doon. Okay, ang mga map. So, tumalo na lang natin to, no? Ano bang meron dyan? No? Located 12 kilometers southeast of Turin in central Piedmont. Okay? The hills were covered with vineyards, producing highly regarded wines. Parang pareho ng lugar ni Mama Mazzarello. Huh? So, ito yung tinatawag na, the city has many towers built as noble house of prestige. Okay? Renowned for the textile industry, and it was a city of monasteries and convents. Di ba yung mga old na convent nakita natin ng monastery? Okay? So, yan yung kanilang cathedral. Okay. So, Don Bosco spent 10 years in this provincial town. No? 4 years in the public school, the Real College. Actually, Royal College yun. No? And 6 years at the seminary before his ordination in 1841. These were important and decisive years for John to build his character and decide for his future. So, Mama Margarita, alam naman natin hindi mayaman sila Don Bosco. She could not support John financially while he was at Chieri. She always followed whatever he was doing. Man, wala cellphone naman. Pero, pina-follow up niya anak niya. To help himself in food, lodging, and school fees, books, stationery, and clothing, John had to beg just to get some food. Minsan may mga kaibigan siya, dyan dito may mga prutas ako, kakainin kita. Grabe, no? Kaya alam niyo yung mga tao na yun na pinapakain siya sa school, nung pari na si Don Bosco, naku, sabi niya, papasukin niyo yan, benefactor ko yan. Kasi isa yun sa mga nagpakain sa akin nung nag-aaral ako. Minsan, naku, sa isang winter, nang hirap nun, laging paggutom ka, mahirap, ano? And he even joined contest to win the prize. Diba yung mga inaabot yung maakit sa pole para lang makuha yung prize. And he even accepted, no, mag-tutor to her landlady for lodging. He worked as a stable boy, vineyard keeper, waiter, tailor. Kaya huwag kayo magtaka, bakit ang galing niya magturo paano manahi sa mga bata? Paano gumawa ng sapatos, paano mag-bookbind. Natutunan niya lahat yun. Yung panahon na hirap siya. Nung pinashare namin yung mga bata, SOM leaders, nung binigay itong talk na to, sabi niya, anong reflection niyo dito? Nagulat ako sa isang grade 10, estudyante namin. Sabi niya, ang nakakatuwa kay Don Bosco, he never allowed this poverty to pull him down. He never allowed the negative things that happened in his family to pull him down. But he allowed this negative experience to mold him. Doon yung kinuha niya, kinapture niya yung moment na yun, and yung mga experience na yun, nagtulak sa kanya, nag-push sa kanya para mahalin yung mahihirap. Dahil siya mismo naranasan niya paano ang maghirap. Kaya ayaw niya ma-exploit yung mga batang ito. Okay? And he was also a recipient of the benevolence of priests and benefactors. Okay? So it was here that he attended the state school at the boarding in Chieri. 16 years old na siya, imaginein mo. Kung ba may kaklase ka 16 years old. Ha? And sabi niya, when the teacher, Giuseppe Chima, strict and austere, saw such a tall student, he said, you could be a donkey. Kasi ang tanda mo na, bago ka nag-aral. Now, what do you say? John Bosco answered, something in the middle, no? Either a donkey or a great talent. I am a boy of goodwill, and I want to do my duty and make progress in my studies. The teacher liked his words so much that he said, if you have the goodwill, you are in good hands. Dito na mold din yung, nakikita niya yung ina-idol niya mga teacher, ito, gusto ko maging ganito rin ako paglaki ko. So, yung mga experience niya sa mga tao ito, ang umulong sa kanya. Ito yung itsura ng Royal College. Nakita ko, natawa ko, ay, ganyan na may Royal College. Parang sampayan. Okay, kasi nung panahon pa ni Don Bosco, no? But it was here that he had his secondary school, nag-high school siya, no? Under the Dominicans. Yan. So, hindi natin masyadong hihimay-himayin yan, mga inaral niya. Okay? So, he had the monthly confession, frequent communion, attendance at daily mass. Imaginein mo, high school. But he was really journeying spiritually. No? Devotion at religious services. Okay? Respect and obedience toward teacher and spiritual director. Kaso dito, bawal po ang theater, gambling, dances, swimming, playing the street, loitering. Okay lang ba yun, theater? Nung tinanong namin mga estudyante, okay lang walang theater. Gusto niyo mag-enroll dito? Sabi namin, ayaw. Theater ay mga pangkabataan. We have to understand because anong mentality nila? Rigorist. Very austere. Extremes kasi during that time. Para sa kanila, para hindi tayo maligaw ng landas, dapat maging austere. Yun ang spirituality that time, rigorist, no? So, yan na. Okay? So, yan, kung saan siya tumira. Casa Marquisio, Giacomo. Okay, andito si Lucy Mata. Okay? Naging friend niya yung kanyang anak ni Lucy Mata, no? Si John Baptist. Okay? Ayun, kaya siya medyo nalilibre sa kanyang mga lodgings. Okay? So, he also stayed in a stable of Senyor Michele Cavallo. Okay? So, biruin mo, natulog si Don Bosco dyan. Kaya na-experience siya. Ito siguro pinanganak si Jesus sa stable. John was deprived of lodging when Lucy Mata did not return to Chieri. Kasi di na nag-stay, di na nakabalik yung kaya doon na lang siya kasama ng mga kabayo. Imagine mo, and lamig winter. He took care of Mr. Cavallo's horse and worked in his vineyard. Cavallo is an Italian word for a horse. Okay? So, yan. And then, Casa Beñano, John Pianta's restaurant. Ito, grabe rin to, no? Nagtrabaho si Don Bosco bilang part-time waiter and was given a place to sleep at the hole in the wall. Natutulog si Don Bosco sa ibabaw na maliit na oven, yung butas lang doon. Parang pusa. He was offered a permanent job as pastry cook because of his dexterity. Bilis, no? Okay, and John must have been exploited and poorly treated. Pero hindi siya naging negative, hindi siya naging bitter. Okay? Hindi siya nangyari. Pero nag-push siya kanya na lalong maintindihan yung mga bata. Another house is Casa Tomaso. For some months, he slept in a small humid room. Ang init, winter. Kaya okay magtaka, di ba nagkasakit si Don Bosco sa baga? Kasi winter, wala siyang woolen blanket. Doon nakatira sa stable, nakatira doon sa hole in the wall. Grabe, exploited talaga. Okay? In a small humid room, half below the ground, but was later given a better room to the help of Father Cafaso. Hirap na hirap. And it was also a period of vocational crisis for him. Okay? Yan. Kasi sabi niya, ano pa talaga? So after finishing his secondary schooling, he was considering entering the Franciscan order. Kasi parang gusto kong maging religious. Nagbigay na siya ng application letter. But the parish priest, Father Cinzano, suggested, huwag kang pumunta dun. He financially helped John at this point. And Father Cafaso suggested to John not to enter the Franciscan novitiate. Gulong-gulo kahit santo, no? Nag-aano na rin siya. Talagang normal ang buhay niya. Pero nagpakita na naman sa dream. Okay? Umulit na naman yung dream at 9. Paulit-ulit yung dream na yan eh. It kept repeating itself to him. This continued to sustain his journey. Okay? Napanaginipan niya yung 16 years old. He was assured. Okay? And at 19, he's not free to refuse the mission. 21, bumalik na naman yung dream. He showed the type of boy his spiritual welfare is called to look after. Ito na yung mga bata, mga palaboy, mga poor abandoned. And at 22, Turin was pointed out as the field where to begin his apostolic work. Pinakita talaga ni Mama Mary yun eh. Okay? So speaking of his vocation discernment when a student in Chieri, Don Bosco writes, if I wanted to put faith in the dream I had in Morialdo, I would have to choose the priesthood toward which, as a matter of fact, I felt inclined. However, a natural reluctance on my part to put faith in dreams, my lifestyle, certain habitual tendencies in my heart, and the absolute of virtues necessary to that state made my decision in this regard doubtful and extremely difficult. Nung nabasa namin to, feeling naman ni Don Bosco, anong klaseng lifestyle meron siya. Napakasimple na nga. Kaya lang kasi nga very rigorous yung kanilang mentality. Natama perfecto kapag naging pare ka. No? Pero hindi eh. No? They are not perfect. Okay, vocational discernment. Siya at 19, he was in crisis. Ano ba talaga ang susundin ko? Magdadayosisan priest pa ako? Magiging Franciscan? And he sought help from God and in others. Okay? Tapos sabi niya, wala naman akong pera, paano? Okay, and he asked the help of a priest, the uncle of his friend Luis. Kilala niyo si Luis Comolo? Ito maganda story nito, no? Yung Luis Comolo, yung sa mga best friend niya. Sabi niya, sige kung sino unang mamatay yun ang babalik Pero alam niyo, talagang nung namatay si Comolo, natutulog si Don Bosco, biglang yumanig yung kanyang room. Tapos biglang bumukas yung parang horror movie. Biglang bumulong, sabi, Bosco, I am safe. Parang inatake si Don Bosco, parang muntik na siya ma-heart attack. Kaya sabi Don Bosco, kaya kayo, huwag kayo makikipag-usap ng gano'n, Kasi tototohanin nyo ng mga kausap nyo. Yan. Tapos si Father Cafaso, ang kanyang friend and spiritual guide. And his dreams would always accompany him. And he would always go to that church. Ang ini-invoke lagi ni Don Bosco at that time is Our Lady of Grace. Okay? So, yan. So, siguro tumalo na tayo dyan. He was accompanied by these professors, by these theologians. Okay? Pero ang nakakatuwa lang doon, kasi naramdaman niya na meron siyang mga tatay sa mga spiritual directors na yan. A spiritual friend, a brother, a benefactor. That's Father Cafaso. Kasi Father Cafaso, tinulungan siya. Uy, Father, wala akong pambayad kahit si Father Borrello. Wala akong pampakain sa mga bata. Tulungan niyo ako. And they would always help Don Bosco. Okay? So, yan. It was also a time of friendship. Ayan, napaka-importante kay Don Bosco. Yung grupo, Società della Alegria. Society, parang inaano nila, of joy, Kaya nga, di ba si Don Bosco, si Pope Francis, Evangelii Gaudium, no? Gospel of Joy. So yung grupo ni Don Bosco, hindi pa sila pare, sinasabuhay na nila yan. Kasi sabi niya, ang bata, kapag maganda ang company, maganda ang mga kasama, magiging mabuti rin yan. Kaya may mga batang pariwara kasi mayroong bad companions. Kaya nga tinatag yung mga SYM, Salesian Youth Movement. Kasi doon, pinapalago nila yung kanilang mga talents, but at the same time, they form friendship with their classmates, with their peers, with their educators, with the sisters, with the priests. Yan. So, Società dell'Allegria. Okay, ito yung mga friends niya. Si Jonah, okay, si Luigi Comolo. Hindi ko na-elaborate kasi masyadong mahaba. Okay? So actually, ang pinipili lang dyan yung mga maayos na bata. Ano ba yung regulation? Exemplary Christian moral conduct. Bawal magmura. Bawal magbasa ng mga bad books. Okay? Dapat maayos din sila sa school. Hindi pa po yan, mga bata pa yan, hindi pa yan pare. No? They call it a society for a good time. So for John, a teenager of Christian character and seriously concerned with the moral and religious life. Okay? Yan. Yan ang kanyang seminary at Chieri. Yan siya pumasok sa seminary na to. Period of spiritual growth, academic qualification, and duties, no? And also, he deepened the devotion to Our Lady. Okay? So life in the seminary, severe discipline and routine life and activities. Yung mga teacher nila ditong pare, lumalayo, sabi niya, ayoko ng mga ganitong klaseng pare. Pag ako naging pare, gusto ko approachable ako sa mga kabataan. Laging lahat ng mga experience siya, meron siyang matututunan doon. Okay? Pero hindi naman siya naging bitter sa mga nakasama niya. No, grabing control, no? Police-like supervision of prefects, and there's the gap between the staff and the students. Sabi ng boss ko, hindi ito ang aking sistema. Okay? So, yan. But after the seminary at Chieri, no? Ano bang nangyari na? To cut the story short, it was in 1841 that Don Bosco was, malapit na. He was ordained a priest in Turin on June 6, 1841. Diyan po nag-celebrate ng unang misa si Don Bosco at the altar of the guardian angel. Okay, where Don Bosco celebrated his first mass in the Church of St. Francis of Assisi in Turin. It was in this church that Don Bosco met Bartholomew Garelli and where he started his first oratory. Kung aralin natin, si Bartholomew Garelli, kasi nga, parang walang maalala yung mga Salesian na ganung pangalan ng bata. Pero sigurado may unang bata na pumunta doon. Kasi nga memory ni Don Bosco, no? Matanda na siya na sinulat yung memoirs of the oratory. Kaya akala niya nga noong una, August 15 siya pinanganak kasi Assumption, no? Ito si Bartholomew Garelli, yung unang, di ba, magbimisa si Don Bosco. Tapos may batang nakasiksik doon, sabi ng sakristan, magsiserve ka ba? Hindi. Tapos pinaghahampas na yung bata, no? Di nakita ni Don Bosco, bakit tinahampas mo yan? Kaibigan ko yan. Tinawag niya, gali ka rito. Sabi niya, marunong ka ba magdasal? Hindi po. Kasi alam nyo, that time, it was Industrial Revolution. Maraming mga kabataan, naghihirap kasi sa Italy noong mga panahon na yon, no? Dumadagsa sila sa Torino, naghahanap ng trabaho. Kaso mga bata, hindi nakapag-aral. Anong klaseng trabaho yun? Di kung ano-ano lang na, kung ano manual work ang gagawin nila. At ang iba doon, walang bahay, walang matuluyan. Kaya dami street children, poor abandoned boys. Okay? Kaya ito sa mga street children na to, kaya lang kasi naka-coat and tie, kakala nyo yaman, ano? Kasi sa kanila winter, kaya hindi nyo kaya naka-coat and tie yan sila. Tapos sabi ng boss, marunong magdasal? Hindi. Marunong ka mag-whistle? Umiti yung bata. Dito. Sige sabi niya, sa susunod na linggo bumalik ka rito, kasama yung mga kaibigan mo. And that was the start of Don Bosco's oratory. Familiar pa tayo sa mga oratory? Actually, ang pangalang totoong, ano ba ibig sabihin ng oratory? A place of prayer. No? Kabataan natin. Pero kami nag-oratorio. Ngayon may oratorio ko, kaya lumitok ako dito. So pinahinihabilin ko sa isang teacher. The young people are usually gathered in the oratory. No? Nagmimisa sila doon. They play. Tapos they form friendship. May mga interest group yan. Marunong mag-gitara, choir yan, etc. Binibigyan ng katisismo. Yun ang oratory. Siyempre, hindi nawawala ang panalangin doon. Okay? So, it is a venue where we meet the young people, especially the poorest young ones. Kaya makikita ninyo, malapit sa puso ni Don Bosco mga kabataan. Okay? So, it's there na nag-emerge, no? Study and culture, an essential ascetic process in building up one's personality. Kaya nakita ni Don Bosco, importante mag-aral. Okay? And so, he pursued his studies nila yan. Okay? So, manual work and personal initiative in actively cooperating with the parents concerned. Sports, play active life with a wise dose of duty. Tatalo na ho ako, no? Kasi malapit na mag-time.
Pero marami pa ho kasi.
Pakita ko na rin, no? Friendship. Dito na nabibuild yung importance of friendship in the life of the young. And the friendship, no? With the adults and teachers. Kaya kung makikita nyo sa Salesian schools, kaibigan namin mga estudyante namin. Ha? Tsaka, during the break, okay? So, kasama namin sila, nakakasalamuhan namin na ibang-iba. Ako, lumaki ako in a sister school, no? Dominicans. Pero sa amin kasi nakikita namin yung mga sisters, no? Kapag graduation, yung kapag pinatawag ko sa office. Pero hindi ako pinatawag. May isa ako CLE teacher, no? Sabi ko, pakakaiba yung sister mo yun, kinakausap ka, kinakaibigan. Kasi na-spirited ng boss ko, hindi ka dapat aloof sa mga kabataan. No? Kaya tayo, kamusta na ba yung mga juniors natin? Ang ating mga aspirants, hindi niya dapat isinasatang isang tabi ang mga kabataan kasi ang mga kabataan may special spot sa puso ni Don Bosco. Kapag hindi gano'n ang puso natin, pinasyanaway natin mga kabataan sa parokya natin, hindi tayo Salesiano. We are not living the spirituality of Don Bosco. Okay, talon-talon, wait lang.
Okay ba po kayo? Tatalo na ba ako?
Okay, nasa Torino na ho tayo. Yung unang pinuntahan natin, anong lugar ni Don Bosco yun? Becky. Hindi Becky na bading, ha? Becky. Okay, birthplace ni Don Bosco. And then second, saan siya nag-aral? Chieri. Chieri. Kasi sa Italian, ang CH is K. Okay, opo. Okay, ngayon po, dumako na tayo sa Torino. Naka, layo pa natin. Okay, Turin. Okay? So, ito yung mga kingdom that time, the first capital of a unified Italy. Okay, yan ay itsura na. Talon-talon. Talon-talon. The home of the Basilica of Mary of Christians. Boom. Okay, Turin. This is how Turin looked like in the first half of the 19th century. Ito yung time na naghihirap, no? Maraming mga kabataan pupunta doon sa lugar na yon in search of work, but they were exploited. Okay? There was a general increase in population. Migration of impoverished peasants to the city for survival. Okay? So it was there. Yan. Mga panahon ni Don Bosco, yung mga lugar na yan ay mga squatters area. Baldoco, Borgodora, Vanchilla, Moschino. Pero ngayon, Sosi na yung Baldoco, di ba? Ang ganda-ganda, no? Kaya sinishare ko sa mga seminaryan no, nasa Cebu. Alam niyo, ganda ng Baldoco ngayon, pero panahon ni Don Bosco. Okay? So may mga squatters din during that time. Kasi malapit sa tubig. Tubig, kailangan niya ng mga tao. Yan, ang mga itsura nila. No? Il Balon. Malapit doon sa tubig. Yan. So, yan yung mga places na sila naglalaba. Washerwomen. Yung mga emigrant peddlers. Okay? So, the workers. The apprentices. Okay? Yan. And who were the poor and abandoned young people of Turin that drew Don Bosco's attention? As I've said, not the intelligent, clean boys, but the least, the last, and the lost. Ano po yung pinapasukan nila? Nasa chimney. They have winter, right? So they have a chimney. Kaso, para linisin ng chimney, hindi pwede malaking tao. Kailangan bata. So, mga bata, child laborers. Okay? So, yun. Kaso, at risk sila dyan. Paano kung malaglag sila? Tapos may kumukulong tubig sa ilalim. Ano yan? Tinola. Okay. So, mga ganun ba? Pero, kasi nga, they are really in search of money to feed themselves. So, these are Don Bosco's poor abandoned boys. Young people living in the slums and trying to survive by any means. Okay? Immigrant boys employed in the building trade. Okay? And all had been in prison and were in danger of doing so. Huh? Imaginein mo kung anong itsura ng mga batang yun. Okay? Mostly between 12 to 20. Many younger children and many working in manufacturing shops. Okay? Remember, Don Bosco was newly ordained. And then, it was there na, during that time, parang sinabi sa kanya ni Father Cafaso, pumasok ka dito sa Convento Ecclesiastico. Alam niyo kung saan pala yan? Nahanap ko, kala ko pat wala na. Iba na sa likod lang ng Our Lady of Consolation, yung pinuntahan natin. Sa likod lang yon, yung building na yon. Alam mo, napaka-importante na naituro ng convento na ito. Kasi doon na-mold si Don Bosco. Kasi dito, ang isinasabuhay nila, ay, yan pala yung nag-confer sa kanya nung kanyang inordinahan. June 5, 1841, by Archbishop Fransoni. Importante po itong convento na ito, ay dito siya natutong paano maging totoong pare. Kasi nung una sa Chieri, very rigorous, napaka-austere, strict. Pero dito na balance. Because they were living, ito talo na lang tayo, ha? Kung saan? Kasi dito na balance yung kanyang pagmamahal sa mga kabataan, no? Maging asido sa kanyang pagbibigay ng confession. Okay? At saka, frequent confession, communion, devotion to Our Lady, tsaka yung friendship with the students, natutunan niya lahat. Because they were living the Alphonsian spirituality. Saint Alphonsus Liguori. Okay? Yung founder ng Redemptorist Fathers. Okay? Sabi ni Don Bosco, I went home that evening to be with my family. As I drew near the house and saw the place of the dream I had when I was about 9, I could not hold back the tears. I said, how wonderful are the ways of divine providence. God has truly raised a poor child from the earth to place him among the princes of his people. Imagine mo, poor beginnings. Sabi ni Mama Margaret, ganda na sinabi din, talagang ang nanay, tingnan mo, talagang ang home is the foundation of our spiritual life. Sabi ni Mama Margaret, you are now a priest and are saying Mass. From now on, you will be in closer contact with Christ. But remember that to begin to say Mass is to begin to suffer. You will not realize this immediately, but after a while, you will find that your mother was right. I am sure that you will pray for me, whether living or dead, every day, and that's enough for me. From now on, give your whole attention to saving soul and don't worry about me. Kasi alam nyo, sinasabihan siya maraming, sabi, sige mag-tutor ka dito, bibigyan ka ng perang ganon. Sabi naman ni Marquese, okay, doon ka sa aking hospital, take care of in the refuge with the young girls. Malaking sweldo mo doon, dodoblehin ko. Sabi ng boss, hindi. Pinakita sa akin na may kapal, doon ako para sa poor abandoned boys. And Mama Margaret was saying, don't worry about me. I am poor, I was born poor, and I will die poor. Totoo na namatay si Mama Margaret. He was placed in a common cemetery. Hindi na nila malocate yung katawan ni Mama Margaret. Kasi walang lapida. Wala silang pambiling lapida. Imagine mo. And look at the words of Mama Margaret. She did not study, pero napaka-deep. Talo pa niya kung sinong theologian. Grabe, no? Because they really have a very deep spiritual life. You see what a mother can do. Okay? O, ito na yung sinabi natin na mag-tutor siya. Tumalo na ako, tatalo na, punta na ako ng... So, ito yung Turin, kung saan siya yung sa Convento Ecclesiastico, kung saan siya na-form to be a real priest, no? Bakit siya naging yung love for the young, yung frequent confession and communion, encounter with the children.
So anong pangalan nga ng place na ito? That's the Convito Turin. Anong pangalan noon? Convito Ecclesiastico. Now,
let's go to Baldoco. One of the, tawag nito yung mga squatters area that time. Okay, in Baldoco, kung saan nakatayo ngayon yung Basilica ni Mary of Christians. It's also in Turin. Okay? Ang pagmamahal ni Don Bosco sa kabataan lalong napaigting, strengthened when he had this prison missionary ministry with Father Cafaso, no? During his years in Convito Ecclesiastico. 2 years lang po yung parang updating course for newly ordained priest. Sinasama siya sa prison. Doon niya nakita, sabi niya, kailangan hindi po pwedeng mga kabataan to, mga bata nabubulok sa kulungan. I have to do something for these young boys. Kaya yung puso ni Don Bosco, no? Talagang hindi siya. And yan, yung kanyang first oratorio, no? Si Bartolome Garelli. So mag-jump na tayo. So these are the young boys. They were working in the factories, no? Yung mga construction areas. Okay? And it was again in 1844 that he had the vocation dream. Okay? Ano po yung vocation dream na ito? On the last Sunday, I was to stay at the convito. I had to notify my youngsters that they should no longer meet there as they did usually. In fact, I was debating whether I should tell them that they need not to go to any place since the oratory would be terminated. Kasi dati, yung sa convito, nag-oratory siya doon. Kaya lang parami yung mga bata, umiingay, nagre-reklamo yung mga kasama niyang pare sa convito. Kaya sabi niya, pwede ba Don Bosco? Pwede ba lumipat ka? Tapos ano pa, grabe rin si Marquese sabi, ikaw muna, pupunta rito yung mga young boys. May paano na yung mga little girl, yung mga girls ko rito sa refuge? Yung refuge ni Marquese, ano yung tawag nito? Mga dating prostitute girls. Pupunta yung mga boys. Syempre magliligawan yun. Sabi, hindi pwede, maghiwalay mo. Pili ka Don Bosco kami, mga babae, o yung mga boys mo. Sabi, Don Bosco, hindi pwede. Huwag niyo akong papiliin. So of course, si Don Bosco chose these 4 abandoned boys. And he felt alone. Wala siyang pera, tumutulong. Okay? Sabi niya, or else I should tell them of a new place where they could meet. And it was there that the dream came. Okay? This time, Our Lady, si Mama Mary, was, anong image ni Mama Mary? A shepherdess. Nakita niya yung isang malaking simbahan. Tapos may mga kabataan papunta doon, ano to? Biglang panaginip niya. And this is none other than the Basilica of Mary Help of Christians. Hic Domus Mea, inde Gloria Mea. Okay? Ano ibig sabihin? Okay? This is my house, and from here, my glory will shine forth. Plugging. Ito po ang ating theme for the upcoming International Congress. Tinuro mismo ni Mama Mary doon. Ito yun, a sequel to the dream at 9. Okay? And with another dream, serve as a guideline for his decision. Pinakita na ng Mama Mary, huwag kang mawala ng pag-asa, Don Bosco. Ito na yun, ito yung future mo. This is your moment. Okay? Buti na lang may mga panaginip siya, no? It was there that Mama Mary pointed. Ito yung gusto kong spot. Pinicturean nga ni Junior, nakita ko eh. Dito namatay yung 2 martyrs ng Turin. Dito gusto ko itayo yung Basilica. Okay? Okay, so yun po. For Don Bosco, would become a personal responsibility. Pinakita talaga, ito talaga isa young people ka. Huwag ka na mag-isip ng kung ano. Okay? It would become a personal responsibility, demanding an all-out commitment for him and the sacrifice of everything else. Okay, so dami. Ito si Marquese nga pala, yung may-ari ng refuge sa abandoned girls. Marquese Barolo. Okay, so ito yung kanyang refuge for the girls. Ito na, yung Wandering Oratory. Kasi nga pinalaya sila. Hindi sila pwedeng mag-gather ng oratory sa convento dahil maingay. So pumunta si Wandering Oratory. Paikot-ikot sila, wandering, no? So una nagpunta sila sa refuge, kaya sabi ni Marquese, hindi pwedeng isama yung mga boys at girls. Pumunta sila sa St. Peter in Chains. Alam niyo kung ano yun? Sementeryo. Pati sementeryo pinatulan ni Don Bosco. Kaso nirereklamo sila. Ingay ninyo. Naapakan niyo yung mga damo, mamamatay na. O lipat uli sa St. Martin of the Mills. Sa Spinalaisa naman dahil maingay. Moreta House, Philippi Field. Hanggang, sabi ng Bosco, Lord, di ko na kaya. Miyak na siya. Saan ko dadalhin niya mga kabataan to? Lagi na lang kami pinapalayas. Umiyak na si Don Bosco. Tapos feeling niya mag-isa lang siya. Okay?
Yeah, may mga stars.
Habang umiiyak umiyak si Don Bosco, may lumapit na lalaki, si Mr. Suave. Ito, Suave talaga bigito niya, no? Si Mr. Pancracio, Suave. Sabi niya, halika, may papakita ko sa'yo. Ha? Sabi niya, narinig ko, kailangan mo ro ng laboratorio. Sabi ng boss ko, oratorio. Laboratory, hindi the laboratory. No, oratory ho. Whatever. Okay, so pinakita na ho. Ayun ang kanyang naging Pinardi Shed. Okay? So yan po ang Pinardi Shed. Alam niyo, sa likod daw niyan ay may nangyayaring hindi maganda. Parang may mga prostitute girls sa likod, no? Ng mga customer. Sabi ng boss ko, hindi pwede yun. Kaya binibili niya talaga yung buong lugar na yun eh. Na kahit kasi hodang mamali mo si Don Bosco. Okay, so that's the oratory in the Pinardi Shed. Okay? So nagkaroon din siya na ultimatum, pumili ka. Pero sabi niya, I thought of it. Okay, I've thought it over already. My life is consecrated to the good of young people. I can't turn back from the path that divine providence has traced out for me. Picture pag may time. Okay? But in 1846, nagkaroon, di ba sabi nga natin, grabe yung pinagdaanan niya, may sakit siya sa baga. He had the severe pneumonia and he was about to die. Talaga sabi ng mga oratorians, Lord, pag sana gumaling si Don Bosco, gagawin namin lahat, papakabait kami. Siyempre, dininig ni Lord ng kanyang mga mahihirap na bata. Pinabalik siya sa Becky, pero noong 1846, kasama niya pagbalik si Mama Margaret. Siyempre si Mami, hindi siya iniwan. Ha? So kasi sabi niya, anyway, wala namang nanay itong mga poor boys na ito. Ako na ang magiging second mother. You see? So the home attached to the oratory of St. Francis of Sales. Yan. So, yung nagkaroon ng first border, no? 1847, may pumuntang bata, 15 years old, homeless, orphan from Valsesia. So, yun na, dumami yung mga bata ni Don Bosco. So, ito yun, no? May picture dyan si Junie. Lagi si Junie. Okay, so ito na, nagsimula na yung simbahan, and then the Pinardi Shed. Okay, the Church of St. Francis. Di ba nakita natin yun yung una, no? Church of St. Francis. Francis de Sales. Ito yung simbahan, nagbinisa sa Don Bosco, tapos nagkaroon ng nag-ecstasy si Dominic Savio. Okay? So ito pa yun, the Church of St. Francis of Sales. Okay? Ayan. 18, yan. Tapos, sa yung loob ng St. Francis of Sales, katabi niya yung Pinardi Shed. Okay? Tapos ayan na, unti-unti na, Don Bosco's house. That time, naubusan ng cash Don Bosco, pinagbili niya muna yung lugar na yon sa Rosminians. Pero sabi niya, makukuha ko naman to eh. Pabalik. Nakabili niya, he was able to buy it back. And then 1856, na-demolish si Pinardi, na-extend na yung Don Bosco's house in its place. Okay? So yan na, nagkakaroon na ng itsura. The Church of Mary Help of Christians was built from 1863 to 1868. So yan na yung basilica. Okay? So, yan na yung itsura niya. The Pious Society of St. Francis of Sales, or the Salesians of Don Bosco, 1859, kanilang date ng foundation. And Don Bosco said, hindi lang sapat yung basilica. I want living monuments of my gratitude to Mary Help of Christians. Kaya tinatag niya yung mga Institute of Daughters of Mary Help of Christians. May kakilala mo ba kayong daughter of Mary Help of Christians? Wala, no? Wala pa po kayo nakikita. Katanang buhay niya ba? Ako po, isa po. I'm a daughter of Mary Help of Christians. No? So, sino ba yung unang daughter of Mary Help of Christians? Si Mother Mazzarello. Maria Domenica Mazzarello. Alam niya ng St. Mary Mazzarello. Trivia, kailan pinanganak si Mother Mazzarello? May 9, 1837. 22 years ang age gap nila ni Don Bosco. Alam niyo, humble beginnings niya si Mother Mazzarello. She was also a peasant, hindi nakapag-aral. Okay? Tinuturuan lamang siyang magbasa ng kanyang tatay sa gabi during winter. Pero napakaganda ito eh. Maganda rin to kasi ang pamilya niya maayos. Okay? Yung nanay niya, parents niya pareho, ang tatay niya rin ay active sa parish. Tapos siya rin ay katikista. At nagkakatikay siya ng mga bata at tumutulong sa mga may sakit. Ang pangalan ng kanilang grupo ay The Association of Mary Immaculate o Daughters of Mary Immaculate. Okay, so to cut the story short, they became sisters. August 5, 1872. Kaya po sa amin po, August 5 is a big, big day. That's our Institute Day. So, yan po. Kung si Don Bosco, para sa mga kabataang lalaki, si Mother Mazzarello at kami mga daughters of Mary Help of Christians, okay, na Don Bosco called us the living monument of his gratitude to Mary Help of Christians. Okay, so yan na, missionary expedition, at kumalat ng kumalat hanggang sa buong mundo. At doon po nagtatapos ang pagtingin. It's already 11 o'clock. Thank you so much for listening. Pero may assignment ho kayo. Sabi ko sa inyo, pinili kong, ano nga, sige. Yung mga binaybay natin mga lugar sa buhay ni Don Bosco, unang-una, birthplace is Becky. Where is the formative place? Kung saan siya nag-aral? Kieri. Tapos, saan siya nag-updating? Sa Turin. Ano pangalan ng Pastoral Institute na ito? Convito Ecclesiastico. Okay? And then, saan siya nagkaroon talaga yung mission, nag-expand ang kanyang mission in Baldoco. Okay? So, doon na rin siya namatay in 1888. And the spirit of Don Bosco is still live out until now, through the Salesians of Don Bosco, through our Salesian sisters or daughters, Mary Pittman, Atma, Salesian cooperators, and the entire Salesian family. Okay? So, bago po tayo maghiwalay, ibibigay ko po yung assignment. Kasi sabi ko sa iyo, Leia, hindi ko kakaya. Kaya parang nagsisikip yung dibdib ko, bilis ko kasi magsalita. Okay, assignment. Sabi natin, importante ang pamilya sa buhay ng isang tao. Katulad ni Don Bosco, katulad ni Mother Mazzarello. Ang tanong ko po, how will we strengthen the family ministry in our area? Okay? Gets niyo po yung tanong? Ano nga ang tanong ko?
How will we strengthen the family ministry in our
yan. So pag nag-meeting ho kayo, bukas, bahala na ho kayo, yun po ang assignment ninyo. Sana may offer natin siya sa convention. At sana po talagang hindi lang siya manatiling mga papel at mga letra, pero talagang gagawin. Okay, so thank you very much for listening. Good day.